year is a great time to make a change or just get a fresh start in some areas of your life, and that could be a career change for you. Thanks so much for staying with us. I'm Vanessa Freeman.
And I'm Shirley Chan in for Tamsin tonight. A recent survey found that almost half the workforce is considering leaving their current job. So how do you turn the great resignation into the great reinvention?
That is the question, and joining us to discuss this very issue is Wendy Perrotti. She is co-founder of Camp Reinvention. Wendy, welcome.
Thank you. I'm happy to be here.
Yes. So entrepreneurship, we've been hearing a lot about it. It's on the rise, especially though among young women. But the big question is, how do you know if that's the right career path for you or maybe a pivot instead?
Yeah, it's really a difficult question right now. Entrepreneurship has reached its highest level ever, and especially, you're right, among women. What we're finding is that there's a lot of noise out there also that says, hey, follow your bliss. And we're all about that at Camp Reinvention, right? It starts with what matters to you in life. But it's not only about that. You have to be someone who not just wants the business, but wants to run a business in order to be an entrepreneur. And I think a lot of the messaging out there is misleading people. So we suggest at the start of any reinvention, especially a career reinvention, when you're choosing between, do I want to go out on my own, hang a shingle, start a business, or do I just want to pivot my career, really dial back to what's important to you, what really matters to you, right? Why are you doing it? And then do a gut check. Ask yourself again, why is it? Why do you want to do this thing? What is the thing that you want to achieve, and how do you want to feel about yourself and about your life at the end of that? Once you know that, you can ask yourself questions like, what am I willing to do? What am I willing not to do? You might envision this great book that you're going to write or this business that you're going to create. But when you start to ask yourself the questions, you realize, hey, I'm not the person who wants to sit and write a book for 6 hours a day for 6 months, or I'm not the kind of person who wants to really run a business. So those are really the first questions to ask yourself when you're choosing, do I go out and become an entrepreneur, or do I pivot my career?
Yeah, Wendy, at the same time, new year, new me, new you, it's easy to say, but a lot of people who make that career change later in life, how can you make sure ageism doesn't get in the way?
Yeah, ageism is a reality. 44% of people who polled say that they have experienced some form of ageism. So it's real and it's out there. But when you think about that statistic, that means over half of the people in that age group, have not experienced ageism. And so what makes them outliers, right? What are they doing differently? And when we look at how we show up in interviews and in working with people of all different ages, especially when you're pivoting a career, 3 things stand out as really important if you want to avoid ageism. The first is let go of your expectations around how you are going to be perceived, right? If you think that you are going to be looked at as too old, if you're worried about how you look, if you're worried about being aged out of a career, you're going to have a defensive posture. And whenever we're on a defensive posture, we're absolutely not at our best. And it reads wrong, shuts the door right there. The second thing is go into any opportunity absolutely open and curious. You don't need to know the answers if you're going into a new industry or a new career or a new area of expertise. Ask questions. Let them know that you want to be part of a team where your wisdom is going to be as important as your experience. And then the third most important component when you're wanting to sort of be an ageism outlier is look to elevate others. If you come to the table and say, how can I serve to bring this whole team up? What do I have to offer that's going to be useful to you? They're going to hear you as somebody who's valuable to the team and not potentially threatening.
Wow. Wendy, those are great tips. I want to ask you this last question because we're running out of time, but this is obviously something people really struggle with, they grapple with. How do you take a lifetime of experience and transfer to something completely new? Quickly, how do you do that?
It's all about how you tell your story. Learn to tell your story, not based on the roles you've played in the past, but in the way that in the skills that you've used in the past. So you're a journalist. what are all of the separate skills that you've used as a journalist, and then learn to tell that story of the skills as applied to the thing that you want to do. So how you explain yourself to the world and to others really makes a huge impact in being able to make a pivot. Start with looking at your skills and then tell your story around those skills.
Yeah, it's really about using the skill set in a new arena. Wendy Perrotti, thank you so much for your time and for joining us. Happy New Year to you.
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.